to respond to this, that there has to be better use of technology. Some of the people I was speaking to said there has to be the kind of infrastructure or the capabilities that a FedEx or a DHL or an Amazon have, where you're mapping from the point that the tanker leaves Bokaro or wherever the tanker is leaving from in East India, mapping all the way where the tanker reaches the hospital to ensure that there is no pilferage or black marketing happening on the side, that there isn't enough technology powering this, Mr. Chadha.
No, you're absolutely right, and all this to the best of
being done. In fact, the tanker when it departs point A, that is the production point, and until it reaches the hospital where the LMO needs to be transferred, that entire journey is being monitored by a senior most officer sitting in the government of Delhi. In fact, we have deputed our own officers in each of those tankers and trucks so that a green corridor for such tankers is ensured and precious lives can be saved and no life is lost merely because a tanker was running late by 30 minutes. Having said that, Rahul, on the point of allocation, I'll just make 3 quick points. Number one, the points of production of oxygen from where this oxygen needs to be collected for the use in Delhi are allocated to us, are in far-flung areas in eastern part of India like Rourkela, like Kalinga, Nagar, like Durgapur. Some of them are 1,500, some of them are 1,800 kilometers away from the national capital. So our request to the union government has been in court, in person, through letters and through your channel, that allocate points which are closer in proximity, closer in geographical proximity to Delhi, like Panipat, etc. That's point number one. That will save a lot of travel time and help us save a lot of lives. Point number two, Rahul, is that as far as the allocation is concerned, I flagged this before you earlier, at the cost of sounding repetitive, I'll say this again, every state got what they demanded for.
Okay. So you made that point earlier. Respond in conclusion, Dr. Patra, to the charge.
Number three, Rahul, may I just finish one last point?
As far as allocation is concerned, Rahul, I thank the union government, again through you, from increasing it from 378 metric ton to 480 metric ton. But this 480 metric ton should not be a paper allocation. We don't want a theoretical paper allocation of 480. We want 480 to reach Delhi.
Sambit Patra, respond to the charge that local administrations in governments like in Haryana are using their force, using their police to waylay, hijack supplies coming in, that there is paper allocation, that even what is nominally allocated is not reaching the last destination in the end because there is hijacking happening in the middle.
No, that was the allegation in the beginning. But you would remember the MHA came up with a direction that this would not be so. And in fact, paramilitary forces and the police of the respective states are looking into it. And the collector and the SP of the respective districts, in fact, have been held accountable for the same. So now no state is complaining that there is any kind of violence taking place, any kind of pilferage taking place, any kind of wayleading taking place. That's not happening anymore. The most important issue nowadays is the administrative last-minute connectivity. Why do I say administrative? Because if you ask the people who are in nursing home, who are in hospital, they will talk about a particular officer who is called as a nodal officer. Most of the time, this logistics needs to be worked out. I'll give you 2 examples. If you would remember, last week we had the unfortunate death of 20 patients in a well-known hospital in Delhi called as Jaipur Golden. Day before yesterday, while representing the whole issue of Jaipur Golden in front of the Honorable High Court of Delhi, this is what Mr. Sachin Datta, the counsel for the counsel for Jaipur Golden said. Enormous SOS calls were made to the nodal officers. They arranged something from AIMS. But it was some minutes late. There is shortage and uncertainty. Delhi government does not understand the supply chain. Secondly, the senior advocate Sachin Datta says, I was supposed to get 5 p.m. I didn't. Sir, let's not shout over each other. I'm just...
Is this recorded by
this is only observation.
All sorts of allocations.
So you also
in
this is no.
Lawyers make all sorts of allocations.
I don't want this conversation to degenerate, gentlemen. Our hope as citizens of this country is that you will put politics on the side just for a few weeks. Let the pandemic end. You can be at each other's throats like you've been in the past. People will sit back and watch. It doesn't really matter. Right now, please work together, for God's sake, to try and ensure that people don't die because they have no air to breathe. That is a criminal act. And there is so much effort being mobilized at this time to ensure that oxygen is made available. let's all ensure that the supply chains are such that there is no disruption happening on the way, that the oxygen goes from the plants where it's being manufactured to where it's required the most.